Hello there, Todd McCann here. Just thought I'd give you a quick tour of the PeopleNet E-log unit that I have in my truck. This is the cheap one. They do make a touchscreen one too, but my company cheaped out because they're cheap. Okay, this is the main screen. As you can see, you got your sleeper berth here, sleeper berth total, and the split, which is really cool because it does it pretty much automatically for you. And the split sleeper berth is always something that a lot of drivers have trouble with. Once you're driving, this will change to AD, which means available driving time, and AON, which is available on duty time. So it just counts down as you go through your day. This would count down your 11, this would count down your 14. Up here, the top button will just change your PeopleNet to the time and date. This is kind of cool because on paper you never really knew where you were unless you were experienced, or always looking at maps to see where you were for the to mark it down on your log for the night. Now you just have to type. You have to hit that button. You see where you're at, but you really don't even need it because the log logs everything for you. Load numbers shows them on the 70 and 8. It also has a setting for the 60 and 7 days, and it also has a setting for Canada. I'll just leave it there for now. Let's start over here with the mail. Typical mail, anything you receive or send out is in here. All your saved messages are in there, all your pre-plans and stuff like that. You can go in there and read all those. Sent messages are naturally where messages that you've sent in. For instance, if you've sent in some home time and then they come back and say, you never sent in that home time, you can just punch that up and say, looky here, I got it right here. And that's awful handy, as most of you truckers know. Over here, we're going to skip that one for now. Over here is the send button. This is where you send all your macros, arrived at shipper, your loaded calls, all that good stuff. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You just hit the select button, whatever you want. For instance, let's do a free-form message here. I'll hit select, and I'll type in message in. I've got one of these. It's got a standard-sized computer keyboard, if you can see the cord there. So you can type, at least, because there's no way to type on this thing. And it walks you through it and just says send the message. Now let's get to the meat of the matter. This menu button here in the middle. This is where all the stuff is. Anything having to do with your driver log and the driver. You got your log in, log out areas there. Trips is, shippers and receivers, stuff like that. This in-cab performance here tells you how many days since I've reset the system, 49 days, my actual odometer, miles per gallon, average speed, top speed. Ooh, look at me, I've been naughty. 78 mile an hour in a 64 mile an hour truck. Man, that must have been one big freaking hill. I don't remember doing that. Idle time, and if you keep scrolling on down there, it tells you all kinds of other diagnostic stuff. Outside temperature. Of course, that outside temperature gauge is never right. But anyway, all this other stuff down here is pretty much for maintenance reasons, and if you have a problem, safety will tell you to reset stuff down in here. So let me go back and start over again. Menu. Here's the meat of the matter right here. This driver log area. This is where you can change your duty status. We'll come back to that. View hours. Here, if you want to know how many hours you have left for the day, just scroll down. I've got 0 for the day. I've got 6 hours left on my 70, and I can see how much I've worked, how much I've been in the sleeper berth. And if you keep scrolling down, I've got this cycle reset is for the 34-hour reset. The 2847 is how much I have left to do a 34-hour, and my hours gained is 944. That's what I get back tomorrow. And keep that number in mind, because I'll show you something else in a minute. There's really nothing else down there. Split sleeper berth, if you want to do that. See, I've already got 5 hours and 13 minutes in the sleeper. So that's kind of cool to be able to keep track of that. Miles today, although you don't really need them, because the logbook, the E-logs does everything for you, so you don't even have to keep track of that stuff. Let's go back out here. I don't even know what that current regulations thing does. I never use it. Review log sheets. This is where you go back in, and if you want to know how many hours you got 8 days ago and how many you worked and how many you're going to get back, you scroll down to 8 days ago, hit select again, and then scroll down, and you can see that on duty and driving was 9:44, so that's what I get back. So unfortunately on this El Cheapo system, the only way to really figure out your 70-hour recap is actually to keep track of it as you go along, or you'd have to go back in here each day and say, well, that was 9 hours and 44 minutes, and then go up in this day, you know, the following day after that, I will get back 10 hours and 54 minutes. It's a real pain in the butt. There ought to be one screen that does that all, tells you all 7 days on one screen, but it does not work that way because, like I said, this is an El Cheapo unit. Shipping's where you can change your load numbers and stuff like that. Trailer is for, you know, if you drop and hook a trailer. Now, our macros do have that in there. It's asked if you drop a trailer and you say yes and you enter the new one, but for some reason it doesn't keep track of it, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's a PeopleNet system or whether it's just something screwy with my company, but every time I drop or hook a trailer, I have to put it in there, and I don't know why. Maybe because my company is just tards. I don't know. Vehicle inspection, you'll have that every day. Hit that button. You can hit the pre-trip or the post-trip or the dreaded DOT inspection. Hit it, type OK on your keyboard, and hit, it'll say OK or whatever after that, and you just OK it. Down here, enter your citation information if you were naughty. Now this enter remarks section is fairly important because say you're at a shipper or receiver and they take forever to unload you and they don't allow you to park on property and you have to drive somewhere to park overnight. You would enter that in there and say that you're doing that. That way you can take it up with safety in the morning. They'll see that you knew what you were doing. It's important to have that in there. Driver log area change duty status. That's something you're going to use all the time. Anytime you got to go off duty, hit that button. I'm not going to do it because it'll screw me up. Sleeper burst, same thing. Driving will automatically put you on the driving line if you drive. For my company, it's 1 mile. It used, back when I wrote this blog post, it was half mile. They did jack it back up to a mile, and that helped quite a bit. Actually, I think that was the next blog post. Anyway, they did fix that, and it did help quite a bit. On duty, your system goes on duty automatically. If you pull the brake and don't do anything, hop out to fuel or whatever, it will go on duty automatically after about 5 minutes, and it will stay there until you move it. So that's one thing I hate about it, and I wrote a blog post about that too. The off-duty PC time is for personal conveyance. That's each company has their own guidelines, and they will let you drive a certain distance without being logged for it. My company is very particular, and I won't go into all the exacts because, well, quite frankly, it would just frustrate the crap out of me, and I'm kind of in a good mood, and I don't want that. So, suffice it to say, they're very strict about that kind of stuff. So, that's a general rundown. It's not everything, but kind of gives you an idea how the thing works. You know, you just punch the button where you want to go, enter the information with your keyboard, and you're done. Well, thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later.